Good morning, children. I hope you are doing fine and taking good care of yourself. This is Sonia Verma, your SST teacher from Springfields Public School. Let us continue with our chapter of history. Chapter 11, we were doing political formations in the 18th century. Last time, we were doing Shivaji's administration, in which we had seen how different ministers and their working was. Today, let us continue with sources of revenue. So, two different sources of revenue were there. One were the areas which were directly under the control of Shivaji, and other were the areas which were not under his direct control. So, areas which were under his direct control, they were giving two-fifths of the produce as revenue. Whatever was produced on the land, out of all the five parts, two parts they were given to the king as revenue, as taxes. And areas which were not under his direct control, they were giving two different taxes which were known as Chauth and Sardeshmukhi. Chauth was one-fourth of the total produce, and Sardeshmukhi was one-tenth of the total produce. Now let us move on to the military administration. Shivaji's soldiers were well trained and disciplined. The infantry and the cavalry were the main divisions of the army. Infantry, as you can see on the left hand side, they were the soldiers who used to fight on foot, and cavalry were the soldiers who used to fight on horseback. In addition, the Shivaji he controlled many forts. Special officers were appointed to look after these forts. Shivaji also had a navy to guard the coast. Now let us move on to successors of Shivaji. Shivaji was followed by weak successors. All those who became king after him, they were not very powerful. So in the 18th century, the power passed into the hands of the Peshwas. These are the same ministers about whom we have studied in Shivaji's administration. It was under these Peshwas that the Marathas became the dominant regional power. So from 1713 to 1761, the Peshwas controlled the Maratha Empire. In 1713, Shivaji's grandson Shahu, he appointed Balaji Vishwanath as his Peshwa or chief minister. He was an able administrator and helped Shahu control the Maratha chiefs. In course of time, the Peshwas, they became the real decision makers. Now let us see Balaji Vishwanath. Balaji Vishwanath took advantage of the weakness of the later Mughals and he captured more and more territories. He forced Farrukhsiyar to return all the territories which had been under Shivaji. Besides the Marathas, they also got the right to collect Chauth and Sardeshmukhi from 6 provinces in the Deccan during Balaji Vishwanath when he was a Peshwa. Now let us see Baji Rao, Peshwa Baji Rao. Baji Rao I succeeded Balaji Vishwanath. So after Balaji Vishwanath, Baji Rao, he became the Peshwa. He conquered Malwa, southern Gujarat. You can see here in this region, children, you will find Malwa and Bundelkhand. Then southern Gujarat also he conquered. Towards the south, he defeated the Nizam of Hyderabad. Here you can see Nizams of Hyderabad. And he also got the right to collect taxes from some provinces of the Deccan. He also captured Salsette and Basayan. Here you can see these areas near Bombay are Salsette and Basayan. He captured these from the Portuguese. So Bajirao I, he was known as the fighting Peshwa because he spent a greater part of his reign fighting wars. Now let us move on to Balaji Baji Rao. Balaji Baji Rao was the next Peshwa. After the death of Shahu in 1749, he became the head of the Marathas. He shifted the capital from Satara to Pune, now Pune. During his reign, the Maratha armies reached as far as Punjab and Rajasthan in the north, and Bengal and Odisha in the east, as you can see here in this map. The kingdoms of Mysore and Hyderabad were forced to hand over territories and pay tribute. They were forced to pay a large amount to the Peshwas. Under Balaji Bajirao, Maratha power was at its greatest. The Maratha power further expanded in 1761 AD. However, the Marathas received a severe blow from Ahmad Shah Abdali. The Marathas they became weak after their defeat at the hands of Ahmad Shah Abdali in the third battle of Panipat. So he defeated the Marathas in the third battle of Panipat. The various Maratha chiefs broke away and started ruling over small areas. So these chiefs again they started to divide the whole kingdom into small areas and they started to rule those small regions. So this battle, third battle of Panipat, it allowed the English to strengthen their position in India. So it left a scope for entry of the British. So this is your whole chapter, children. Your chapter is finished. Next time I will be sending you the question answers. Do take a reading of the chapter. Stay home, stay safe, keep doing your work on time. Thank you. Have a nice day.